welcome back. I'm playing Ash of Gods, and I think we're getting close to the end of this game. I feel like we're kind of at the last chapter, getting ready to be assaulted by all these enemies. The Reapers are coming for us. Everybody's kind of getting stuck in one place here. So we'll see what we can do. Staller. May not many dare to make a profit in a besieged fortress, but this merchant is definitely bold or Rikus enough to do so? I am not familiar with that term at all. Oh, he's just I don't know what this strict stuff does. Running does not. Wow, that's good. Stuns all party members and increases attack by 2 to all party members. Dude, that seems very dangerous. All party members, yeah, I don't want that. Oh, this is the problem is, am I gonna still... I don't know how much... I can't imagine there's a lot left to do. Right? I just don't know what the Strix does, is the thing. Tenor, you don't know if Tenor will be glad to see you, but it is still worth talking to him. And who do we have here? Tenor. Well, I'll be. What are you doing here? Didn't think I'd see you again. I didn't think so either. Been saying my goodbyes every evening, expecting that I wouldn't wake up in the morning, but I still serve. Been at it my whole life, and it's what I'm going to do here. Oh, so there was a change on him on my playthrough. So before I found out that he was working for my father-in-law and he was kind of a traitor. In this one, I said you had no better servant and gave him a compliment instead. So I don't think I ever found out that he was working for this guy, but I can't remember. But that was one difference here, so I don't know if it's affecting my interaction here or not. Been at my whole life, and it's what I'm doing here too, serving an old master of mine, Count Stakatovichti. Heard anything about his son? Bron, you mean? Not one good thing, I'll tell you. But the Count has ordered I remain silent, neither his hiding place nor where he was seen last. Well, it's natural, it's his son after all. So the scoundrel has to hide. Fitting. Is he at least treating you well? Why would he need to harm me? I dust his quarters and that's it. He's got younger servants for all his other needs. Dusting requires some vigor too. Did the Count say anything about my wife? What's there to talk about? That's his daughter. There's little glimmer of hope. Never said a word about her. Cried, though. He's been crying in front of our house by Cuna's and Leaky's graves, never uttered a bad word about you. Thanks, I appreciate it. I myself don't feel like cursing him anymore. Well, good luck to you, Tenor. I don't believe in luck now, but you still have my deepest gratitude, Master Thorn. Perhaps it would have gone on if it hadn't been stopped so abruptly. Well, doesn't matter now. Look after the Count, Tenor, all right? I know you're past your prime, but they say you're quite deft with that dagger of yours. Bronvici won't spare his father if he comes here. The Count pities Bron, though. He's restless, always talking about him, especially since he's learned that Bron took the city's guard wages with him. Says Bron couldn't do it, then turns around and says the opposite. Well, what can you do? It's terrible to lose a daughter, but it's even worse to lose a son. Tell me if you ever need anything, Tenor. I'm always happy to help. Well, that seems to progress at the Gals. The Frisian legions are stacked neatly in a row, while the Gals gather in droves. The melancholic cry of the Gallian pipes are heard near Opecum. The Highlanders have encircled the fortress. Glenda touches your hand. Dad, I think I'm feeling the same magic that led the gals to Opeckham. It's like horrifying music, but without any sound. The gals are angry. I can feel it. Where did it come from? Tell her about the gals. Where does a people's ire come from, you wonder? They harbor it little by little. The Gallon villages are quite small. They stay secluded for most of the year. That's their way of life is hard. Every village is in its own clan, its own family. All are subservient to the family chief. Not much breathing room. Where do the gals channel up all that pent-up vim and vigor? Glenda seems at a loss. So you're saying that they buy and sell slaves, ravaging caravans, and kill travelers because they've got a lot of pent-up energy? Of course not, you laugh. Take the Pelians, for example. To them, pillaging is just like hunting and fishing to a Burkanan. But for a Gal, every skirmish, robbery, battle is like a continuation of a never-ending war, one that has claimed his family and burned his village to the ground. It does not matter if it was 2 or 3 centuries ago, and if the last scars have been healed for 10 generations. Glenda squints. Well, what can be done? Burkana's been trying to pacify the Gels for centuries, and here they are clawing at Opeckham's wall. They already rule the entire Vandal forest. What should we do? You grind your teeth. Kill those who must die, but spare the innocent. Although the Gels blowing their pipes outside the walls were once innocent too. Why so quiet all of a sudden, you know? You only grow up once. You realize that some questions have no answer. Okay. I don't quite know what to make of that. Philia, you're curious about Philia wishes to discuss. Hopper Raleigh, a besieged fort is hardly an ideal hiding spot, so why delay the conversation? Okay. I don't think it really matters who I talk to. I imagine I gotta talk to everybody, don't I? Good to see you're in fine health, Thorn. You actually made it to Opeckham. What did you expect? You want us to share this joy or something? I want you to keep your daughter safe. I've been following you since the reaping began, trying to understand how you resisted the Reaper. And now I do, having seen your daughter. It was not just your valor, but also the power she holds deep within. Where does my daughter's power come from? From you and your wife, special people in your bloodline, or particularly traumatic events. They mark you for all time. Such marks of fate, both good and bad, can be passed to your children. Shaking said, I am but a soldier. Yes, I've had my share of trials along the way. I've looked death in the eye many times. It even embraced me once, when I was in the Vale. So that's the reason Glenda was born a year after that. Never thought it would affect her. No one touches Glenda! I don't know. That seems like such a childish thing to say. What else do you know about the Reapers? 1,000 years ago, Outlanders came to your world. Many of their patrons perished in the transition. Those who survived had to sacrifice themselves. Before dying, they managed to plant menhirs to serve as beacons. Think of the Reapers as an Outlander guard captains, with NCs as their soldiers. That's some legend, never heard anything like it, but I always had a hunch those menhirs and temples were bad news. So what do the Outlanders want? To ravage the land, quench their bloodlust, reclaim their menhirs? Perhaps they simply want to wipe us out and seize our lands. Indeed, they wish to destroy you and take your land. They'd have done so long ago were the stars favorably aligned. Some menhirs are not yet powerful enough. Their rulers are deep in slumber or dead, and your people are not so easy to kill. Gripping the hilt of a sword. So you're one of them, aren't you? Shrugging. I'm a rat that fled a sinking ship. I'm not one of them. And I do not wish to see destruction in your lands, Thorn, though it will likely come. The world of these Outlanders is dead. Burned to ash. Perhaps this one's fate will be the same. There is nowhere to run for any of us. You're worried about saving your own skin? That must be why you don't want the Reapers getting a hold of Glenda's hidden power. No one touches Glenda. They may, Thorn. I cannot promise that I'll be able to fight off the Reapers, but I'm not letting your daughter out of my sight. The Reapers, I can't protect her from such a foe on my own, though why would you risk your life for Glenda? Allow me to put it this way. Do not ever give your enemies what they want from you. It makes sense, but to me Glenda is not just some weapon to be used against the Reaping. She's my whole life. I appreciate the offer, but I'll protect my daughter myself. I only wish to help. You do not have to put all your trust in me. I have to go. We'll talk later. There may not be a next time. Are you certain that you have nothing else to ask? First, I need to figure out if I believe you. Too many odd and terrifying truths have presented themselves to me lately. I understand it's difficult, realizing that all you know in this world's inner workings amount to nothing. I shan't push it. Words mean little to you anyway, right? You're a man of action. You'll want to see what I can do first. Exactly. It's a deal then. I have to go now. Till later. Fair enough. Philia? You arrive at the square. Despite all the commotion, you spot the motionless figure of a woman standing near the menhir. It seems it really is Philia. You should at least thank her for protecting your daughter. Suddenly the square is bustling. You hear a clank of armor and nervous neighing of horses. A cavalry unit with the festively clad temple servant in its lead passes you. I have to deliver news and our plea for help to the Primarch. The monk assures the guard, I care not if the Gels are trying to lay siege to Opecum. The power of the Temple of Divine Retribution protects me better than any army. For some reason, this temple servant conjures feelings of repulsion and danger. You try to ignore them. After all, the monk is only looking out for himself, same as any other temple servants would. He likely hopes that the horses are fast enough to get him out of the besieged fort. The temple servant catches your eye and squints, as if trying to remember if he's seen you before. Finally, he breaks into a smile. The fort has not to fear with such brave protectors as at the helm. Submit yourself to the will of the gods. You see the monk cross the square and walk up to the menhir. You made it to Opecum after all, Thorn. I'm glad I was right about you. Philia, thank you for protecting my daughter. How may I be of service to you? It was I who came here to aid you, to warn you of the danger to you and your people, to try to tell you why you're all here. Consider me my mother's messenger, if you will. What does this have to do with your mother? My mother taught me everything I know, though I still struggle to be even a fraction as wise. I'm just a good healer and a bit of a witch, nothing more. Taking a closer look, wait, those bracelets you wear, they're just like my daughter's. A sorceress by the name of Chila gave them to her. My mother has many names. Chila is but one of them. Scratching the back of your head, well, I never. Alright, if your mother's so wise, did she perhaps tell you how it all ends? Is there a chance of survival? If memory serves, your mother was an exceptional seer, was she not? I asked her about that myself. She gave no definitive answer, just said that there is hope, although we might also bear witness to the end of the world. Nothing is certain, even for her. Don't even know what to make of it. Fate is either in our hands, or we're forever trapped within its bounds. Still, knowing Chila, it's her way of speaking of such mysteries. What danger are you talking about? Someone amongst those called to this fortress is to be sacrificed. That's all that matters. Opecum is the Reaper's final obstacle. If it falls, the marked one will be destroyed. Wincing, that's the whole reason you're looking for me? Just to tell me about some convoluted prophecy? Mark this, sacrifice that? What one sacrifice compared to the thousands of lives being lost? The sacrifice will awaken one of those who command the menhir's power. He is stronger than the Reapers. Even put together, he's stronger than them. Eyebrows raised. So someone will have the power to obey this mark and be sacrificed, which will summon someone more powerful than the Reapers. In the hope of doing so will help the Northerners capture Opecum. Do you yourself believe this? I am not asking you to believe. I only to remember. Understanding shall come later. For the nebulous nature of the prophecy, well, its outcome is uncertain. Had I met you a year ago, I'd have said you're out of your damned mind, but I saw a lot on the road from Albinus to here. I will remember your words. Is that all you have to say? I then shall take my leave. I hope you've understood my mother's warning. How should I know what this is about? Reaper's prophecies, marks, and others hogwash. I hope it becomes clearer to me. Clear with time. The feast. You'd prefer not to feast in a besieged fortress, but being absent is not an option. The time tenses up like the string of a bard's lute. Parisian pipes can be heard outside. The bells clang in the tower. The feast is nigh, and it might just be the last one of your life. You look around. Quite a lot of guests, it seems. You notice Vici under the castle's arch. The old man seems not to want to leave you alone. Well, having a companion might not be so bad. You've never been to the throne room when Opacum Frega was built by the Jaboan kings to rule the Vandal forest, while Opacum has meant to be the keystone for all of Burkana. None of that came to pass. Ducat turned the throne room into a dining hall. If you live long enough to reminisce, this ought to be an experience to remember. Guards open the doors before Stacket Vichti. You hear the king Thrag's furious cry. He stands in the center of an empty throne room, fist clenched in the soldier's corpse at his feet. Upon seeing you, he fills with anger. You drop to one knee and remain still. Sheket's body is at Thrag's feet, pierced with a bolt similar to that of those of the Bronn mercenaries. Bronn's father stands beside you. A wrathful king stands before you. He has just lost one of his best men. You have nothing to say. I'm at your service, your majesty. I have no doubt about that, Thorn, but I am curious as to the identity of my guard commander's assassin. He was killed shortly after I sent him after you. And what's with the bolt, Stacket? What's going on in this fortress of yours? I'll have the whole fortress upended, all of it. That scum will never escape retribution should we call off the feast. If it were to take place here, you may be in danger, your majesty. We are all in danger. But I will not call the feast off. No scoundrel will change my mind. I laugh in the enemy's face, for now I wish to speak to Thorn Brennan. Noticing Hode, wait, is that my son I see? Thank the gods. Ho, come and stand by your father's side. I will never let you go again. Father, don't forget your promise. I remember everything. Believe me, I am quite capable of weighing all the factors before coming to a decision. No harm will come to the blameless. Captain, you've been given an opportunity to show your loyalty to Opacum's ramparts. You've come to this fortress to defend it, not to hide. Isn't that so? It is. And for this opportunity, I'm deeply grateful, your majesty. I have never hidden, and I never will. We will speak again, Thorn Brennan. You've still got so much to tell me. Consider the coming feast a kind of funeral. We're holding it while those about to die are still with us. Well, at least some of them. The king walks away, leaving his son with you. Hode's lips are tight, his brows knit together. By all signs, he is very determined. To do what? You wish you knew. We are in Opacum under siege. Many things will be decided here. I sense your hesitation. Tell me one thing. My father wishes to keep me on a short leash, it seems. I am of a different opinion, still in need of a trusted warrior who's good at throwing knives and won't get cold feet. Hmm. No, I won't tempt the king, because I don't use Hode anyways. Stubbornly. Don't you understand, Thorn? I'll not spend the siege hiding behind anyone. I'll choose the section of the wall to defend, but I'd rather be fighting by your side. Do as you please, but Thrag is already mad at me. I'm in no position to grab death by the whiskers. I ask that you respect that and refrain from insisting. Disappointed, I understand. Please tell Shop that I relieve him of his duty. He's fulfilled his task and brought me to my father in one piece. Goodbye now, Captain. You remain in the dining hall and watch the servants take Shek's body away. Oh, Shek was the one that died. They mop up all the blood and set the tables. Guests with bleak faces fill the dining hall. No one touches their food. Glandis takes a seat by your side. Glandis shivers and rubs her shoulders. Dad, it's Brown Beachy's bolt, unique to his bodyguards. But where could he be hiding? Why'd he do this? Shek was his enemy and could have accused him of stealing. You tell Glenda. As for hiding, Opeckham is riddled with secret passages. No one knows them all. Bronn has been coming here with his father since he was a boy. Your mother told me that Bronn liked to ambush people with the contents of his chamber pot, but no one ever caught him in the act. Tell Glenda to stay alert. You tell your daughter to warn. You turn to your daughter and warn her, and see she's scanning the room, hand resting on the hilt of her sword. You're joined by Hopper, who's is just as alarmed. Something is amiss in this fortress. It's bad enough that Shek has been killed, but now they're saying that Shek Vichi's son had a hand in stealing the funds from Ursus, and he might be hiding in Opeckham. To make matters worse, I have a splitting headache. It may be caused by another's magic, but I'm not sure. Hopper looks around the throne room and shrugs. Perhaps I just need some sleep off this headache. The conversation drowns in the sound of trumpets. Enough talk, you say. Get up, the king's here. The doors open again and King Treg is in, to let King Treg in. Looking morose, he does not immediately take his seat at the head of the table and deliver a speech. Instead, he takes time to walk around the hall with his entourage, shaking hands and embracing his guests. All signs indicate that the feast is a farewell ritual. Stand behind Hopper. Place Glenda behind Hopper. I guess we can place her? I don't know. I don't really think that's much of a difference, is it? You take Glenda by the shoulders and carefully move her behind Hopper. In times of trouble, there's no need to draw the king's attention. Glenda looks at you and whispers of her discomfort with the situation. She feels like something's about to happen. She looks at you and then again at Treg. The king draws closer. You place your hand on the hilt of your sword. What could possibly go wrong at a feast where all the guests can be trusted? The king approaches. When he reaches you, he stops for a moment, but does not offer his hand. We still need to talk, Thorin Brennan, he says, before moving on. You freeze in a courteous bow. The king has shown you that you've fallen from his grace. Everyone wonders what will happen to you now. You expect the worst. Dire thoughts overwhelm you. However, your fate is not the reason. The king resumes his place at the throne and signals for the feast to commence. The guests grow more talkative and merry the more they drink, but you can still feel the king's piercing gaze upon you. Luckily, the feast does not last long. The room falls silent as the king prepares to deliver an important message. The king rises, pointing to the stain on the floor. On this very spot, a treacherous villain killed my friend Shek, my commander of the guard. Today I lament, just as I would lament any of you, just as you'd lament me. Depends on whose luck runs out first. But this feast is no funeral banquet, Treg continues. It is an occasion where to meet new friends and hear important news. No aid is coming. We should brace ourselves for anything. Opeckham is thought to be impregnable, and our scouts report only moderate numbers of Frisians. But lest we forget, it is the reap time. All Burkhannan troops have been mobilized, the king bellows. They protect our homes from the NCs and other abominations. Opeckham is our frontier. It has never been taken, and it shall not be taken while we still live. The feast is over, King Threg announces as the cheering subsides. Everyone return to defensive positions. You too, Thorn.
In the place where everything ends, the source of all being must flow. If you don't see it, you're not there yet.
The awkward feast is over. Apart from King Tregg's inspiring speech, there is nothing noteworthy. Something odd was in the air, like a strand of another's magic, but unless you're imagining things, the spell did not work. Mushroom paces to and fro, striking up conversations with various guards in the square. Mushroom carries across the square near the gate. My friend, what's the rush? You call to him. The assault hasn't begun. No need to be seeking cover yet. Mushroom lashes out. Mushroom has never sought cover. No, I needed to talk to the party from Ursus. I showed them the bolt that killed Shek. Said it looked familiar, and I was right. Brom Vichti's mercs use bolts like that. It was them, or the Count's wretched son, hiding under his daddy's wing in the fortress. You ask Mushroom to elaborate. Not so fast. I've heard the story of stolen funds. Brom's doing or not. Why would he kill Shek? What does it change? Mushroom grims. You're clearly not familiar with how things work at the court. The main strategy is to wait it out. Half a year goes by, and a year at most, and they forget about the funds. Count Steket Vichti might settle the matter too. For now, Bron should lie low. He's in hiding again, having run into Shek. Just wait, though. He'll crawl out and find his way to somehow blame Shek. Well, I'd better go. The assailants won't keep us waiting, though they say the negotiators are already in the fortress. Philia decided to stay by the Menhir. It would be worth talking to her. The wall, good place to observe the Frisian army and do some thinking. Alright, so that's probably the thing that's going to set the game forward. There are very few women in Opacum. Seeing two of them talking is a rare event. You're very lucky. One of them is still a child, though she might argue that. I need you, Hopper. Shek gave me this bundle for safekeeping before he died. Emma asked him to hide it, but I think it belongs to you. I just don't tell her. She seems out of sorts. My stone knife she brought it here. Perhaps you are a seeress. The knife provides a glimmer of hope. Perhaps it will stop an overzealous reaper. What is Glinda interested in? Why are Frisians set on taking this fortress? Why is it so much easier to breathe here? My father fears that I may bear some mark. What is it? It is not about Opacum itself. What is it then? Is it about the dead Menhir? Why do the Frisians need it? Frisians have no need of it. The reapers who drive the Frisians do. Because there is no noose. What are you talking? Are you talking about the reaping? It doesn't choke us in Opacum. Why is that? I do not know, but we are not the only ones after this riddle. Several reapers and 3 legions of Frisian soldiers are also trying to solve it. You'll know it when you see it. A mark shows who the awakened one will use to enter this world, to rule Terminum as its rightful master. And I will be marked. And what will happen to me if it happens? Can I resist it? It may be you, it may be another. I do not know about resisting, but nothing good comes of the marked one. To the marked one. I am not a fortune teller, Glinda. You have a blackened hand. Is that not a mark? What are you going to do? If I knew what to do, I'd be doing it already. Philia, what did your mother tell you? Only in Opacum will you be saved. One of the 5 will awaken, but it is her children that will save this land, for he can only come through her children. Do you remember the advice given to you, the spell broken into the 7 fragments? I wish I knew where the 7th fragment is, the meaning in the very end, and the dearest one still elude me. I suppose it's not over yet, though nothing dear to me remains. In any case, why trouble yourself with this? Should we, or should we not kill the marked one? If yes, when? Will this being then find a different route? What if it will not let us near? Or if it grinds us to dust? Think, Hopper. You observe the enemy army from Opekham's wall. For the 100th time, seemingly all of existence verges on collapse. Are your premonitions true this time? Suddenly you see Glenda. She wants to talk. Scribe, you know this. You should know this, right? What are the Frisians making? Some kind of machines? I see step ladders, bowmen, and spearmen. How long would they say a siege will last? Someone was saying that the Frisians brought thousands of prisoners. Where are they? They are trebuchets. Throwing large throwing machines. They'll soon hurl massive stones this way, or something worse. What could be worse than massive stones? Oh, many things. Pots of boiling tar, burning straw, corpses. Ugh. The siege can last a long time. Perhaps it will end soon. If the fortress has a good supply of food and water, the siege could last months. But it's not that simple. The siege won't last long now. The Burkhanan army is on its way. Did you think there were only 3 or 4 legions in the Frisian army? I'm afraid they have many more, and the Reapers have sides with them. True, there are no prisoners. Looking through the spyglass, they drove them to Opekam by the thousands. Now there are only dead bodies. They slaughtered all the prisoners. But to what end? Do they plan to hurl the corpses at us? We shall soon find out. I will be going. Wait, look, there's white rags on a stick. It's a parlay party. That big-bellied Frisian must be important official. Won't they... Maybe they won't storm us after all. It's not likely, Glenda. The Frisians will storm the fortress unless, of course, we surrender. Never. I'll die before I surrender. You'll have plenty of chances to do just that, I'm afraid. Apologies, but I have to go now. Someone's been looking for me. Your false excuse for Glenda materializes in the form of a messenger. You encounter him as you begin to descend from the wall. You recognize Mashum. Steketvici summons you, Hopper. We'll be negotiating with the Frisians, but we lack a good interpreter. The Count is going to placate them with a feast and then suss out their intentions. How's your Frisian? Do you even speak it? You accept the invitation. Better than most Frisians. I'll come, though if I were you, I'd poison all these ambassadors and be done with them. They'll just stall for time or deceive you outright. I'll be there soon. I guess that's the only thing to do. The throne room. You better not make Stiketvichti and the Frisian ambassadors wait. The throne room has been cleared. The tables are gone and only the throne towers over the ancient hall. Its solemn occupant is Count Steket Vichti. He beckons you. You stand by his side and bow. At this moment the doors are flung open, revealing the parlay party. A pop-outy official waddles in front, followed by several warriors. Many more royal guards remain in the throne room. Steket hardly is in danger. Still, 2 figures keep their distance, seem highly suspicious. Oh my gosh, this guy. Pelko Satori. The pot-bellied man looks around. Instead of bowing, he nods contemptuously at the throne. You found an interpreter, he asks, in broken Burkhanan. Your tongue is too harsh for Frisian lips. I be Count Pelko Satori, leader of the legions in the king's own blood. Who speak with me? Taking Vichti's hint, you step forward. I will translate your words, Count, you say in Parisian. The replies, too, if you so wish. Count Pelko stares at you for a moment. I ask for help if I forget a word. For now, I try to speak my own words. Why is the king not present, or at least the prince? Did the Gels not chase them all the way from Hyborg? I hoped to see their faces. Is the king perhaps dead? You will be content talking to me, Pelko Satori, count to count, so to say. You're related to the kings of Frisia, so I've been told, but I will never believe that it is you who commands the army gathered outside the Opekam walls. This should not concern you, Burkhanan. Let me ask in Parisian. Interpreter, come here. Why aren't the gates wide open? Why aren't you and the other officials on your knees? Are the soldiers eager for death? Where is your king hiding? He's pretty, he's asking why the gates aren't open. He's asking what kind of warriors you have. He's asking what if we have a brave ruler. Sorry, I had to cough. Voice is still a little bit weak for the COVID. Because the glory of Berkanan shines bright as her blades. You fool, so Peckham will fall at the Frisian feet before the day ends. Do not hurry to drink your pigwash, Count. Let it sleep. Let it seep. He is asking what kind of warriors you have. Soon enough you'll see what my warriors are made of, especially if you attempt to storm the fortress. It will be their final battle. I hope their fear will not befoul the fortress as my warriors are taking it. Battles are resolved in many ways, but never by foul language. He's asking if we have a brave ruler. Braver than the most desperate Parisian in your army. You'll see for yourself very soon. Or awaits your king. If he wishes to live, he'd best kneel before me. I've come for one reason, to convince you to surrender the fortress immediately. I'll pass your wishes on to the one who will appreciate them. Perhaps you are crawling towards the gate to escape Opeckham. Perhaps when you are crawling toward the gate to escape Opeckham, he'll come out to have a look at you. And the negotiations count. There are sorcerers in Pelko Satori's entourage. I can sense them weaving spells. Impossible, there's no reaping within Opeckham's wall, no reapers, and no sorcery. No reaping true, but sorcery to be sure. Listen to me, Count, while you can. I am taking this fortress from within as we speak. I allow you to hear and feel everything, including your death. Suddenly your body seems very heavy. Unfamiliar sorcery binds your arms and legs. You look at Steket Vittori, Beachty, only to find him and his guards petrified. Just like you, two strangers in temple robes weave their spells, immobilizing Count Vichti and his entourage, adorning the pot-bellied Count Satori with the sorcery's pernicious threads, and the other Parisians are poised for the kill. Pelko Satori laughs triumphantly, patting his belly in anticipation of victory. Another sorcery imbues him with power, tightening his slack shape, as if giving him a second youth. He is a murderer, washing himself in the blood to feel like a beast, a torturer savoring the victim's cry, a glutton overcome by the sense of food. You whisper a protective enchantment to loosen the magical bonds, desperately trying to figure out who infiltrated Opeckham disguised as temple servants. Is it Dorpkal, Atarak, or Adna? You draw the knife tucked beneath your belly, forcing through magic. Throw it at the Parisian official. Your knife pierces Pelko's throat. The Count's eyes bulge in their sockets. He croaks and falls dead. The magical weave snaps, slashing you and the two sorcerers. For a moment the world goes black. The sorcerers vanish. You hear moaning behind you. The Count and his guards are still trapped in the enchantment. The Parisians advance. You draw your sword. Oh, still got 2 points here. And that's fully leveled. Do I do damage? Or more energy? I feel like I need to get some damage. Ah, that's quite the... Yeah, let's try to let one more run around. The Frisians lie vanquished. You wearily lower your sword. It's not the fighting that has sapped your strength, but overcoming the alien sorcery. Stack at Vichti's guards shake off the dissipating enchantment. Blood has pooled on the floor. Somewhere outside, drums are beating. It seems like the siege has begun. Hopper, you damned book lover. How did you do this? Cries Vichti. You're worth 100 of my guards. What kind of magic is this? Why do my guards still piddle like a flock of plucked chickens? A bolt strikes the Count's chest. He starts wheezing for air. You rush to him to try to keep him alive. Events unfold rapidly. You need to choose the character whose eyes you want to see the rest of the story. The second character's fate will be placed in the hands of the gods. What? I wonder if I can save it. So I can see what both of them look like. Well, let's do it with Thorn Brennan, I guess.
If all strength left you, you are dead. If you are alive, stop whining about tiredness.
It felt as the assault began too soon. The Frisian legions moved as though directed by an unknown force. Their trebuchets were not prepared, and their negotiators had not yet returned. An enormous copper-plated battering ram was brought into play. Squads of archers crept forward, shielding themselves. The infantry moved briskly, holding hastily cobbled together ladders over their heads. The trebuchets let loose. The boulders they hurled over the defenders' heads crashed thunderously into the crumbling castle wall behind the ramparts. Beating drums and the wail of Frisian pipes muffled the desperate cries of the attackers and defenders alike, and so it began. You are calm. Your bastion is higher than the rest of the wall, which is already too tall to be scaled by siege ladders, and their hooks won't work against this kind of structure. It's clear that the gate will be the focus of the assault, which is why they move their massive ram there. Many enemy soldiers, using their shields for cover, pushed the monstrosity up the steep incline, but what of the negotiators? Did Frisian sacrifice them? Alright, so there's not a whole lot here. The actions of the Frisians seem aimless. You ruminate over the centuries of conflict between Frisia and Bracana. So many dead, so much blood spilled. Perhaps it was the point. That was the point. Neither side acquired new lands or resources. Then why start all this? You take a closer look at the Frisians trying to lay siege to the fort. Their ladders are indeed short. The only true danger is the massive ram currently wailing on the gate. Although their arrows can already be reaching the battlements, and their trebuchets are hurling boulders at the fort's defense. Was all this orchestrated just so the dead Mynheer could be bathed in blood? Is it the beginning of the bigger war? What happens to the Mynheer when it is no longer dead? Will it be rekindled, awakened? Will it heal the wounded again? What are its secrets? Arising Frisians, it's supposed to be Frisians mindlessly saunter along, dragging furs and tarred sacks bursting with the blood of their wretched captives. They all resemble madmen whose fates have been sealed. Many fall under the hails of our arrows, but it does not deter the rest. They continue to creep toward the Mynheer only to die before the cargo reaches its destination. A sense of foreboding gnaws at your insides. You never expected Opeckham to remain forever untaken. No fort does, but for a moment you feel as incorporeal terror hovers over you, reveling in the spectacle of the spilled blood. The Gels, if anyone should not be here, it is the Gels. You look at Opeckham's southern walls. Smoke rises above them. It would seem that they too have fallen prey to the onslaught. It would take powerful sorcery to make the Gels attack a fortress. Usually their only interest is protecting their ancestral towers. On the other hand, the Gels flee after ransacking some caravan hardly makes them cowards who would throw their life away for loot. They fight with ferocity and vehemence in their own lands. Well, there is a silver lining to it all. The more Gals that die during Opekham's siege, the safer Gallian mountain roads and Vandal Forest highway will become. The question remains who will be left to appreciate it, and what business could the merchant caravans have in desolate, blood-soaked lands? The Menhir, a white-haired woman, stands before the Menhir. What is she doing there? Praying, perhaps? You approach the Menhir and see a woman. She can barely stand, yet somehow emanates a kind of power. You move closer to give her a hand, but come to a halt. She is saying something, almost screaming. At first her words seem like bumbling nonsense, but then you begin to make sense of what she's saying. Something about inevitability and the old mistress taking her back. Before, Amma's mistress only had a command of her spirit, not her flesh. Things are different now. It becomes abundantly clear that this poor woman's mind is addled. All too common in the reap time, and she's not hurting anyone. You leave her be. You'll never find a temple servant who could keep an eye on the poor soul. Burkanans, the warriors of the Five Kingdoms, are full of determination, prepared to stand their ground during the siege. Parisians will rule the day they decided to assail Opekam. Burkana never conceded to the northern kingdom, no matter what happened. Even now, the finest warriors of Odala, Isa, and Jirana guard Opekam's wall. None of them cower at the stones flying overhead. If the Frisians somehow break into the fort, they shall taste Burkanan steel and valor. Besides, Opekam borders Burkana, and while the Jabona is also part of its name, it lies days away from the Five Kingdoms border. Every battle is an opportunity to severely injure the opponent, perhaps even fatally, before an actual confrontation takes place. Powerful trebuchets have already dealt considerable damage to Opekam's bastion. Still, the inner castle stands firm. You might be able to hold out a while longer if you retreat beyond its walls. The Frisian ram won't do much good in the castle courtyard if Frisians are so eager to drown the Menhir in blood. Let them drown all along with it. Despite your determination, one thought continues to gnaw at the back of your mind. What if the Frisian legions are interested not in Burkana, but in Opekam and Opekam alone? Odd warrior. This odd warrior seems oblivious to all the commotion around him. Could he be an icon? Could he be an icon? Who are you staring at, Thorinaki? Haven't you heard of the icon in the fortress? His name is Lopang. The redhead's name is Reed or something? They also brought a healer with them. The one with the white hair. Amma's her name. Together they rescued Prince Hurling, perhaps even King Trag, while they were approaching Opekam's gate. Glenda nods in agreement with the giant, then, without warning, walks toward the icon. Too late for you to realize what's happening. By the time you catch up to her, she's already stuck up a conversation. Please pardon my manners, but we've not been introduced. I heard you brought the healer to Opekam. May I see her? Why don't you look for her yourself? Sure, I can look for her myself, but why not ask someone and save time? Detached, the lady is herself unwell. She left with a local healer, Philia. I see. She heals others and neglects herself. The same reason cobblers wear shabby shoes. The healer will not help us, I'm afraid. Alright, I get it. What should I do? Curing a headache with decapitation is a bit extreme. Ask the healer's advice. She is also a seeress, or so they say. If she cannot heal you, she will recommend a place of final rest. You've rekindled our hope. A seeress wouldn't visit a fortress that was doomed to fall. Let's go. We have no time for healers right now. Sure, why waste a healing potions on a case of the sniffles? Trifling illnesses pass, as do serious ones when the ailing die. Detached, you do not have a cold. Yours is a different ailment. Angrily, she has no ailments. We're grateful for your concern. That's all we really need. wincing. It's just a headache. It will pass. Mine are yours too. You look after your warrior women, Icon. This plague seems to favor us. A headache first and then a spot on the forehead. And before you know it, your girlfriend's a reaper. And that's if you're lucky. When it happens, we'll talk. I think that was supposed to be a joke. Glenda, stop looking around. The assault is already underway. You need to get Glenda off the wall, no matter how capable she claims to be. You stare at your daughter. Glenda stands on the walls watching the assault with crossed arms, a pale face, and tight lips, as if she doesn't want to miss a thing. You approach her. Afraid? I feel uneasy too. The Frisian archery arrows will soon be close enough to reach the battlements, so stay close and don't stick your head out. We should be cutting the ropes. Their ladders are too short to be of any use. It feels like a crucial detail that still eludes me. Why did the siege start with the Frisian negotiators still inside? And there on the right, what soldiers are carrying those black... Why are the soldiers carrying the black bags? It looks as if there's no more negotiators left. Maybe. Whoever's doing it has no concern for their fate. I'd love to know who's spurring them on. There's no commander, no king, no one. They say all Frisia serves their temple. Never trusted those temple servants. We can only hope that our temple servants are different, though. Better not look at the bags. Look, they're carrying blood-soaked furs. See the Frisian camp? There are rows of prisoners there, now reduced to a pile of corpses. There are also those cauldrons. Look, it's blood. They're pouring it on the menhir. I've seen that somewhere before. The Anses did something similar with the menhirs near Albinus. Perhaps they meant to imbue it with some sort of dark magic. Peckham's menhir is dead, though. Why would they bother? They are not trying to wake it up, are they? It's time for you to leave the wall. Looking at the menhir. Wait, I think I'm starting to understand. Well, I still don't understand any of it. There's no need to understand it anyways. Fight while you still live and make sure your daughter doesn't do anything foolish. Would you look at that? Mushroom is climbing the wall. Your grandfather probably thinks you've no business out here, so he sent an orderly after you. Thorn, trouble. The Frisian ambassadors use sorcery. Even Hopper Hopper thrashed him, but Stekavici's wounded. It doesn't look that good. Damn it, why did he join the fight? He didn't. A bolt from God knows where. The guards have already searched the castle. I'm not here to deliver the news, though. You've been summoned by Vichti. A bolt? Did Brahm have the gall to? There's no one else I could have. Mashum, I'm taking my men with me. Vichti, your father-in-law lies on his deathbed. You should not keep him waiting. You rush into the dining hall and see blood and Frisian corpses. Stekit lies on the throne step. Philia and Hopper are leaning over him. Aki stands nearby, surrounded by guards. He wipes sweat from his brow. You made it, Thorn. They say the bolt ain't Frisian. Same Shek was pierced by a similar one, and the Frisians were killed by a scribe. Don't be surprised. He's quite capable. We'll continue the search. The scoundrels have not yet been found. Guards, follow me. Philia glares at the guards till they leave. Then she turns to you. The situation is dire, Thornbrennan. Hopper and I can barely keep him alive. Come here. Stekit wishes to have a word with you. You and Glenda, hurry. He doesn't have much time left. Beachty is pale. His life fades. Thorn, I'm sorry. You were the best man my wife could wish for. Glenda, Bron, Beachty, my son, hiding in my chambers with his guards around here. You fall to your knees. I want where? But Stekavicti is already motionless. You hear something akin to a door creaking, and Hopperelli briskly sweeps in. He jumps, falling to the stone slabs. One bolt protrudes from his chest, another in his hand. Philia rushes to him. You get up and see with your sword. Bron and his mercenaries enter the throne room. Bron Vichti laughs nervously. Now I've seen that it is actually possible to catch an arrow. You always were lucky, brother-in-law, but your luck is about to run out. The old man is done. You and Glenda will join him soon. No skillful maneuvers will save you. My men's blades will seal your fate, and with the siege in full swing, I'll get my hands on Macht. You Ibrahim's henchmen, some of them look like very skilled soldiers. You've lost your mind, Bron. Robbing a treasury, killing a commander of the guard in front of his ruler, murdering your own father, hunting down anyone who shares your bloodline, taking delight in your sister's death. Why? Bron bitterly grinds his teeth. You won't get it, you bastardly abomination. I'd rather lose my mind than my inheritance. Do what you want. Do you want me to just languish in poverty like some kind of peasant? Don't worry about every coin spent. Worry about every coin spent. Rotten geezer left everything to your children. And who are they? Just whelps of a peasant who was given his exalted title for being reckless, a disgrace to the Vichti family. Are you alright, Glenda? You ask without turning your head. How's Hopper? Glenda grits her teeth again. Hopper is gravely wounded, but it seems he's out of the woods now. He saved us both. Vichti spits. I am so exasperated by these games of honor, valor, and the art of war. Why did you take up the knife? You're the bastard seed of my sister's unclean womb. Your place is in the kitchen, but I'll not even give you that. You'll be my soldier's new plaything. Kill them all, tear them apart. Glenda straightens and throws a dagger right into Brown's pale, pledging neck. He clenches the throat, eyes bulging, falls back, squirming, and chokes on his own blood. Brown's mercenaries lunge at Thorn's soldiers. Oh, I've leveled up, apparently. Keep the health coming. Alright, so I had some new options. I don't know what the Strix consumption does, but we'll do that. Didn't I buy something else? Yeah, got that. Running doesn't cost energy. I feel like that should go to my other guy. Although maybe giving it to one of these guys isn't a terrible idea either. Who do I want to run in? I mean, part of me wants to run the archers, in which case I can then have a powerful item. Let's do that. I guess you can use that. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Yeah, right. Kill one of my own guys? That's stupid. Yeah, I could never get these things, unfortunately. What the shit is this? Oh, these are the bolts. These bitches. Oh, that's terrible. So I guess that's the question. Should I be running in here or not? Probably. Well, I guess I have to attack there. Oh, whoops. Oh, how did I miss that there was an archer there? Mm. There we go. Easy peasy. Can't believe those guys are... They betrayed me. The battle is over. Bron Vici's goons are dead. You lower your sword, exhausted. The sound of the siege is barely audible in the now quiet dining hall. The corpses of your children's foes lie near that of his father. Philia continues to work on Hopper. Glenda wipes her blade and rushes to her aid. It seems you've raised your daughter well. Philia bandages the half-naked Hopper, cautiously touching his blackened hand. She feels the plumes of darkness creeping their way to his heart. Didn't think it was that serious, she says. And what's this? Hopper, you're covered in scars, left by arrows. On your back, too? How did you live through all this? Legend has it that there was a battle 700 years ago where 13 heroes stopped the reaping, Glenda whispers. Kept it at bay for many years. 12 of them were turned to stone and scattered to the wind. The final hero fell unconscious after being pierced by arrows, just like that, just like this Hopper. Hopper grinds his teeth, his face contorted in pain. He inspects his hand, touches the wound where the arrow used to be. Stories, he mutters, reaching for his blood-stained tunic. The 13th, he was no hero, just unlucky, or just unlucky or lucky, depending on how you look at it. You sit beside Hopper. Are you all right? Can you stand? You need to get to the wall. That's where everything is happening. You have my thanks. I feel like I'm beginning to understand about you, Drocket and Mabuk. Hopper raises, scowling. I do not understand it all myself, but Drocket or Rask, God's rest his soul, or Amma, you'll be fine soon. I've endured much worse. By the way, Philia, have you found Amma yet? Philia shakes her head, vanishing into thin air. I've been looking for her so long, my feet are sore. You shouldn't talk too much. How do you expect to help at the wall in your condition, although you're bleeding a moment ago, yet here you are, standing strong, on your feet, on your own 2 feet? Mashum busts into the wall, completely exhausted. Troubled gods only know what kind of ram it is. They've already smashing through the gate. Anyone able to hold a weapon must go and defend it now. The gate, you need to make it through the gate. If it falls, you'll have to keep the Pharisians from breaking through. You reach the gate and join the defenders preparing for the assault. You then hear a deafening crash. Everything halts momentarily. It sounds as if the fortress itself is collapsing. Both sides stop fighting and everyone turns to the menhir. The sacred stone is riddled with cracks. Within moments it breaks apart and crumbled into a heap of black rubble. Everyone comes to their senses and the fighting resumes. A white-haired woman catches your eye. She seems to be the one they call Amma. Accompanied by a group of NCs that seem to emerge from nowhere, she approaches the gate. Traitor. She's going to let the enemy in. From the corner of your eye, you notice Hopper. He's protecting Philia and being attacked by a barrage of NCs. You snap out of it. Defending the gate is a higher priority, so you let the scribe fend for himself. Drawing your sword, you plunge towards Amma. You suddenly experience a familiar feeling. A terrible pressure overpowers you. The same thing you felt when the bell tolled in Albinus. Amma clenches her head and begins to scream. Okay. I wonder if that was comical because it was sped up. Do I get more health? Well, one of you can have the healing, in which case focus may be quite powerful for you. So let's get that. Let's keep your attack going, I guess. Alright. So he is the one that has it. Okay, good. I could let him have the archer, I guess. Although I kind of would like him to have the archer, but I think we're doing enough damage. You cannot believe your eyes. Amma has become a reaper. She seems weaker than the one in Albinus. At least you can stand and fight. Perhaps the reapers differ in strength. You can think more about that after you vanquish this new foe. Oh yeah. Alright, so no mages, that's good. Oh, he's buffing her, huh? It's a pretty big pit there. Kamikaze. Ooh, shit. Alright. Wanna play that way? I can do that too. Ooh, I don't have any more stuns. Actually, she does a ton of damage. If I kill her, will that end the battle? Bitch! You lie there, struggling to understand what's happening. Emma was supposed to be dead. Those wounds, no human could have survived them, but the white-haired witch is even stronger now. Everyone collapsed, just like Albinus. Only Hopper managed to get close, and yet even he succumbed to the sorcery, doubled over right there in the street, clutching some kind of knife. Oh, we all got a wound. As you regain your composure, Philia runs to Hopper. You cherished her, did you not? Do you remember the clue? Do you... Look, before she turns to dust. Shaking as though suffering from unbearable grief, Hopper approaches the petrified woman and examines her arms. God of mine, the fire, wind, and water, the salt of the earth, he says, accept my flesh, my spirit, and my love. Philia repeats the scribe's words and nods. I don't get it. Something's missing. Something about how everything will make sense in the end. Perhaps it's not yet the end. Point at Hopper. Hopper can barely speak. Emma was stripped of her free will and infused with the great power. They hoped it would be enough, but you still managed to defeat her, so they repeated the process, turned her into a reaper, so I had to. You look at the scribe apprehensively. By they, do you mean our enemies? The ones who orchestrated the reaping? And what did you kill her with? I saw you holding some kind of knife or dagger. Hopper nods. Yes, this is the ones responsible for the reaping. And yes, it was a knife. A special knife made of stone. The only one I had. It crumbled into pieces as soon as it struck Emma. You look at Hopper in the eye. Have you any idea how to save the one bearing the mark? Glance at Philia. The scribe shakes his head and points to Emma's body, which is already crumbling to ash. No, the one thing is certain. She's the first victim. 2 more Umbra have been killed. The divine incarnation will be irreversible. Glance at Philia. Philia shrugs. Horeska's been killed, hasn't he? She asks. And Emma's the second, right? Who's the third then? Hopper grits his teeth. Rask has been ripped from his body, but he is not dead. Adaraka devoured him, and now it feels as though he's somewhere nearby. Mashum rushes to the gate. Hopper, Philia, Aki's been wounded. He's being carried to the throne room. He's the one who needs healers the most now. Hopper and Philia follow Mashum. The assault continues. The gates barely endures the ram strikes. The fort's defenders retreat back to the castle. You join them. Glenda suddenly clenches her forehead, yelling in unbearable, searing pain. Her tears flow like a river. You take her by the hand and rush after Hopper. No one but him, or perhaps Philia, will help you or your daughter. That's not good. Looks like they're capturing the place in one day, huh? Throne room. Hopper Riley should be in the throne room. Glenda will have to be carried there. As soon as you reach the throne room, you hear heavy footsteps on the stairs. The icon barges in. Is the healer lady here? We need her help. Reed has a splitting headache. She collapsed with the menhir shattered. She is unable to stand. You take in the grim scene, the emaciated features of the icon's red head. Glenda's likewise gone face, Philia trembling fingers, and drops of sweat on her temples, the suffering in Hopper's eyes. Ask for Philia's opinion. You glance at the healer. Philia, can you explain what's happening? I want no guesswork, I want the truth. Philia wipes away her tears. What do you want to hear? That a slumbering god is about to waken? That that the evil responsible for burning one world means to do the same to this one? I do not know who he chose. There must be a sign. Speak up, Philia, Hopper says calmly. Tell us everything you know. What did you learn from your mother? She said that the chosen vessel is marked with a sign, Philia whispers faintly, to shatter the vessel if you cannot seal it, for it is filled with poison. She told me that blood would reveal who had been cursed. Remove your amulets and draw blood. A few drops will suffice. That's it. Then she left. You suddenly roll up your sleeve and cut your palm. Everyone does the same. Hopper, Lopang, Philia, amulets clatter to the floor. Blood drips. Glenda cuts her palm from her hand. The first drop of blood forms and falls. For a brief moment, the same crimson sigil of the Reapers is placed upon the gate of Albinus flashes on her forehead. Despair, dear gods. Why put us through more trials? What does it mean? What are we meant to do? What should I do? Tell me what I should do. I'm at a loss. Nothing can be done. You cannot stop an avalanche, can you? Step aside, find cover, fight. Could you tell me what to do, perhaps? Fight. Fight your own daughter? Do you have any idea what that's like? Step aside. Judging by the sign, it's too late to move. Find cover? Too late to seek cover when a skilled archer has you in his sights. Can you tell me what to do, perhaps? Could someone at least tell me what I should do? It's clear. Fight until all the Frisians lie vanquished. That's the only daughter of mine. That's the only way, daughter of mine. Whatever the Reapers inscribed in the city gates, it does not cause a single city to fall into enemy hands. The battle for Peckham is not yet over. We must join forces. I am a warrior, not a commander. Do what you must, Commander Thornbrennan. Castle Square. A Reaper stands in the Castle Square. You will have to do battle. You run to the Castle Square and freeze in place. A squad of Gells has broken through, pushing the defenders back, and their leader is the same demonic abomination that spoke to you at the Watermanere. It grins as it notices you. The temple servant nods. Hey, Burkhan. You kept me waiting quite a while. Everything has a fated hour, including your daughter. Would you look at that? Blance is with us. There's our second sacrifice, and the third one is ready too. Only thing left for me to do is exhale, and Rask will find his place on the altar of the gods. But first, let's have a bit of fun. Can you swing that sword of yours right? You draw your sword. Never thought I'd have to fight some loudmouth, you proclaim with contempt. Your opponent raises his hand and the Gells approach. He then suddenly changes shape, swelling with abominable power. His eyes turn black, his hair becomes matted and oily. You do not get to choose your opponent, Thornbrennan, he says, his hoarse voice echoing in the town square. Perhaps. Keep that life going, I guess. Same with you. A lot of skill points here. Two points left. Let's get you energy for more healing. We've got 6 skill points. Just boost up your health all the way. Gonna build him out the same way. I don't know if I'm even going to use these people. Here I'm having to level them all up. Let's keep your attack up, and that will get you some health. Oh, you still got another point left, huh? Get you some walking, I guess. Man, Mr. Lopang, keep getting better. Oh, you leveled up too, huh? I think that's everybody. I also... Wait, can I use Lopang as a guy to battle on this one, or no? No, I can't. I was gonna say, because... Wait, yes I can. Why the hell would I not use him? Alright, sorry, Kruger. Give him your items. Actually, I kind of want to just go Archer crazy. I think that should be fine, though. You can do this, I think. I can't imagine there's going to be much fighting left. That's 8 health. That's pretty good, actually. I guess the energy can go to my healers, even though I'm not really using them. That's 6 health. Alright, let's just give that to Krieger, I guess. Did my card deck stack? They did. Fantastic. That could be good. Let's try this. Alright, big guy. Show me what you got. Alright. I can run you down here. Do that. Attack here. Come here. start dropping him. I don't actually want him to kill you. Right, you just need to pull back. What the hell's going on here? Oh my god, I've already beat this guy? The battle exhausts you so much that your hands shake, but your eyesight fades and everything becomes a blur. There's only one thing to be certain of. Though slain, the Reaper still lives. He's laughing at you. Fresh blood clots over old blood. New deaths make you forget past ones. The fight goes on, but Philia's voice rings across the square. Akarak, you cannot be slain by ordinary weapons. Your strength fades. Something moves behind the coma. One of the fallen is not yet dead. You catch a glimpse of a dark-skinned face under the hood as the stranger lithely jumps to his feet and strikes. He then rolls to the side. Rask appears before Atarak like a pale phantom. He watches his body crumble to dust. Rask then shrugs and fades away like fog in the dawning sun rays. Wait, Rask did that? I thought Mabak just did that. You look at the mighty Atarak's decaying flesh and fading features. You think of the monster and Albinus of Terminum's Millennium long curse, and of the invincible evil that even 1,000 warriors like you could not defeat. It is not over yet, Umbra. The Umbra have taken to the altar, yells Philia. All to the broken menhir, to the chapel's ruins. That is where it all ends. Everything was leading to this. Atarak did not heed the warning, and his arrogance was duly rewarded. Adna the Reaper. Atarak's arrogance was rivaled only by his stupidity. Tribar the Reaper. Why concern yourself with something so insignificant while witnessing something so profound at work? The deed is done. I feel his coming. He is not your master. Neither is he mine, Dorpcall. Master of Chalido, Tao, the archer, has deceived us all. You arrive in the square, the assault ends, the fort falls silent. Not a Reaper in sight, but they feel close by. Something is bound to happen. I'm still me, but I can barely understand anything. It's a blur in my head. Is this the end? Hopper, will you help me? What should I do? Those damned riddles. Do you think mere words can stop a god? Or maybe you think some ruins can stop a god? My heart is barely beating. Why did she make me piece together this spell, damn it? Was it a test? Did you think it's some sort of joke? With all the riddles were just a game? They were a path to acquire strength. You're nearly within reach. Damnation, drawing a blank again. What did your mother say? What was the last clue? Help me remember. She said that you will find the last words on the dearest one or in the very end. Don't give me that look. You will not find the answer written on my face. The book, of course, here it is. But it's not finished. Stopped mid-sentence. Help me. Help and protect. No, it's not enough. On the dearest one? I've already read the word on Alma's body. Glenda, you're dearest to your father, aren't you? Roll up your sleeve. Do not argue. But there was nothing here. It's like my hand's on fire, but there's nothing written on it. My hand feels like it's engulfed in flames, too. How I loathe these games, damn you all. Take into yourself that which you can take, for there is no one else to take it, and if you do not burn out, carry it. And with every step your burden shall become greater, for you carry it for many, and their numbers increases still. You will save yourself by saving others, but you will not keep misfortune away, because you carry misfortune within you. God of mine, the fire, the wind, the water, and the salt of the earth, accept my flesh, my spirit, and my love. Save and protect us. Your hand returns to its former color, and you feel a surge of strength, but you cannot move a finger. It is as if time has stopped. The one bearing the mark grows taller and straightens her shoulders, becoming beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Everyone falls to their knees before her, as do you. It seems as if time itself has stopped. Fragile Glenda is filled with dread, but a moment later she lets out a sigh of relief and wipes her sweat from her brow. Her eyes become pitch black, yet her voice does not change. Glenda touches her forehead. The mark is gone. What has happened to me? I feel like I've been submerged in darkness for so many years and suddenly emerged, but I still feel cold inside. Am I saved? What happened? Asked Glenda impatiently, fighting back tears. You approach your daughter and hug. Aunt, let me hug you, Glenda. It's all right. It's all over. Hopper rubs his hand. I think it was a she. Well, no matter. We did not open the gate and managed to keep her out. Still, she's just on the other side and not going anywhere. She's inside you, trapped, at least for now. The plight has been averted. The corrupted sacred stones remain lifeless. The reaping's grip loosens until it has finally disappeared without a trace. Finally, it's time to put out the fires, contemplate your horrifying experiences, mourn the dead, and forget the taste of madness and blood on your lips. The scribe, known as Hopper Rowley, who was also an Umbra and Curio named Blanche, suffered the curse of the unknown witch and completed the journey laid out before him. Reading the spell, he realized that all the reaping's power, all the magic that devoured human lives and dragged him into the abyss, all of it was served one single purpose: to confine the Almighty God to a body. A single spell assembled from fragments was akin to a pebble that was brought down a rock slide, preventing the end of the world. Seeing the scared, tired, but empowered and still human eye staring back at him brought Blance's both joy and relief. It was not yet over, but he at least has time to breathe.
Chilla arrived at Hungry Steppe the same day dark clouds loomed over Opacum. She was gazing gloomily over the boundless valley when the menhir was destroyed, and its remains beheld the dreadful ritual. She grimaced, but not because of the deadly desert that awaited. Though the events in Opacum unfolded 1,000 leagues from her, Chilla felt every moment. Everything she concocted in Albius's town hall has ended just as it should have. Did she know that by going against her deity's will, she'd be able to seal it away in someone's flesh and blood? She couldn't answer. The only thing certain is that the horror befalling Terminum has only been stalled. The important thing is, Blance carried out the mission she gave him. He also seems to have realized that her sorcery was not a curse. Same as how 700 years ago, her arrows that kept Blance from getting excarnated in the drowsy deep were not a curse. If this is a sacrifice, hasn't she carried its heaviest burden? And what's next? There is still far to go. It wasn't like Chilla to give up. She thought not of her daughter, nor even her own plan, a delicate lacework of steel. Nor did she wonder how it would all end. Her ending was nowhere in sight. She thought about her coming journey, and even about her whole life, being a one-way trip, and about pain and death, burdening more than just Terminum's dwellers. The ones sealed away in the center of that corrupted land have it much worse. That's where she's going. She must make it.
Alright, I guess we ran out of a budget for voice acting. Safely hidden in the Havel wasteland rests the Salvation Ark. Over 1,000 years ago, divine power brought it to Terminum. A falling star, the spark of a calamity that swept the world. The Umbra and the Curios depart with haste, and the Ark remains sealed. NCs only emerge from it when the reap time comes. Against the will of her god, Gelato resolves to ascertain what went wrong. She hopes that the imprisoning of the deity will free what remains of her ruined world and its inhabitants. Having lifted the protective charm, Gelato freezes in terror. The divine plan has been distorted. Where an elegant sphere should have appeared before her, instead looms a nascent menhir of her god. To gather strength and awaken, the awakened deity devours all who slumber in the Ark. 1,005 years after the divine retribution, 3 years after the fall of Opacum, what happened feels like a bad dream, a dream from which some will never awake. Though few still believe it, an ancient god awoke in Birkanan fortress that day. After failing to subjugate the mind of its host, it fed upon the Reaper's strength and parting them from their corporal shells. The resurrected god now slumbers deep in the mind that hosts it. The reaping ends, but the magic lingers, created new centers of power. People bury the plague victims. Life goes on, as does the war. Once free of the Reaper's oppressive spells, the Gels attacked the Pharisians on the ruins of Opacum. In the ensuing chaos and bloodshed, many Birkanans were able to escape the fortress. Pharisia had dealt a staggering blow to Birkana, but without the Reaper's leadership, was soon consumed by internal squabbles and bickering. Before long, all the Pharisian warlords were fighting each other, giving the southern kingdoms time to recover and prepare for the next conflict. Birkana's surviving forces united under the new champion, King Treg of Jorana, who earned incredible glory during the defense of Opacum. Brave, steadfast, and gallant in spirit, the people love him. Never has the world seen the southern kingdom so united. Following the horrific events at Opacum, many Vandals, Jaboans, and even Palians joined forces against Pharisia. A most curious fate remains unknown to mankind. Completing Chelito's trial made Hopper Rowley, known to some as Curio Blance, much stronger. Many Birkanans who survived the Battle of Opacum gratefully remember the scribe who helped them escape the besieged fortress, and then vanished without a trace. Blance did not die, however. He made his way into the wasteland in pursuit of the one who had helped him save Terminum. Among those Hopper saved at Opacum was Aki, his trusted travel companion. To everyone's surprise, the giant warrior hasn't taken part in any battles since. He instead began to scour the southern realms for Pharisian spies. With a small band of fighters in tow, He is often seen studying a journal, one he doesn't allow anyone else to read. Glenda contained the resurrected god within her mind, gaining new powers. It is now her turn to protect her father. Thanks to her, Thorn survived Opeckham. He now fights for Verkana, leading all who would follow. He's still a captain of the guard, a loving father, and one of Frisia's most formidable enemies. Lao Peng escaped Opeckham with his life and managed to reach the Isle of Shadows safely. He recounted everything he learned to the Council of Elders. He was also accused of transgression and then absolved. Following a brief inquiry, the Icons prepare for 3 years, and now their boats have set sail. Lo Peng's surviving companions did not follow him. They went their separate ways to shape their own lives. From then on, the Icon wasn't a true leader to them, nor was he ever their friend. The future of Terminum remains undecided. The scales have tilted, yet are unbalanced. New heroes may emerge, while old ones vanish without a trace. The story may yet go on if there is enough vigor, determination, and luck in the world. Alright, I guess that's Ashes of God. I don't know how I feel about that. You know, the game was pretty good for most of the way through. I kind of feel like the ending was kind of lackluster, but I wonder if maybe there's multiple endings that kind of give you different feelings. I hope I can go back and do it with Lo Peng. If I have to go all the way through the game just to redo the last chapter, I'm definitely not going to do that, though. It was a little frustrating that if you go through and take those curses, you can kind of make the game almost impossible by the end of it. So I'm a little frustrated. Or maybe I just suck and I wasn't able to do it, and other people are. I'd be curious to know if somebody can keep increasing the difficulty with the reaping level to the highest levels and still make it all the way through the campaign. But I just found that I was getting one-shotted by the enemies, as you were able to see, and I kept running out of the stones, and then I just accrued injuries, and it was just impossible for me to progress. So an interesting game. Definitely didn't even know of its existence, so wouldn't have played it if it wasn't donated to the channel. But it wasn't bad. Certainly would recommend it if you're into these role-playing games and the stories. Always prefer it to be voice acted, but obviously I imagine that would be quite the cost for development to have a bunch of voice actors and everything here. But always kind of like the animation and some of the turn-based strategy. So definitely was enjoyable. Would have enjoyed it a lot better if it didn't take me 4 attempts to freaking complete the game, but that was due to my own fault, just trying to skip through. Definitely like using things like the cheat engine to speed up the turns and get the game going by a lot faster. So I would have liked if the battles, if you had the ability to just replay the battles, because I found that you can on the easier difficulties, but on the hardest difficulties, the Iron Man, you're not allowed to replay the battles. But given that you can wreck your campaign doing it that way, I still think, especially if there's some RNG and like battle campaigns in terms of your cards having random effects, it would be nice if you could just redo the battles. You know, you have a misclick and all of a sudden it just wipes out your squad. That's just very frustrating. So then you wouldn't have to go through all the text and things. But I'll let the credits go through here, and I think this will bring this game to an end. Unless I'm able to go back and do the little paying thing. If I am, then I'll upload another video where I go through and do it with his ending to see if it's any different or not. So thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed these videos. If you did, please give my channel a like and subscribe to encourage me to post more content for you. Thanks again to the subscriber that donated this game to the channel so we're able to see what it's all about. Have a great day.